Hello everyone. Today I'll be speaking to you all about leadership, okay? How leadership can be a learnable skill, right? There's nothing such as born leaders, okay? That's just a myth. Being a good leader is how you develop this leadership skills over time. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes some time. So today I'll tell you like how you can develop this skill and you can be a leader in any position you take up, right? A leader is somebody who can influence others, right? So if I can influence someone's decision, if I can change someone's mind, if I speak something and if that's impactful and can create a difference in someone else's life, then I'm a good leader because I can influence the other person. And how can you influence the other person? You see, the kind of views I have, just imposing those views on somebody else will not benefit in any way, okay? The other person is just not going to understand anything, right? So, whenever you want to share something or if you want to influence someone, it's very important to not impose your ideas, rather connect to that person emotionally, right? That always works. Connect to that person over thoughts, listen how that person functions, try and understand that, okay? And then connect to that person emotionally, and that's where it works, okay? That's where you can influence that person. It's very important to understand what that person requires rather than what you want to say. It's important. What's more important is understanding that person and addressing that person's problem in the right manner. That's how you can influence others, right? If you see greatest teachers, any greatest professionals, great leaders at your own workplace, they're good because they possess this skill, because they say something and we as employees, we understand that, we kind of absorb those things. And why do we absorb those things? Because we see a lot of meaning in what the other person is saying, right? So you should be able to influence the other person in that way, right? One more important thing to develop a leadership skill is destroy limitations in your mind, okay? A lot of us have these foundations. You have these, everything is, if you see a real problem, if you think there's a problem, right? So 80% of it is psychological, right? You're always influenced by external factors and they limit your brain from functioning the way you actually want to function. They like overpower whatever you're thinking. I used to see this during my placements back in my MBA days. So there were a lot of, I think 80% of the students, you don't get placed in the first two, three, four companies, and then they start getting worried. You get a little panicky and you're like, what's going to happen, okay? So that's when lot of people, 100 people will tell 100 different things. Your friends will tell something, your teachers are telling something, your parents are saying something. There's a lot of pressure from everywhere. They'll tell 100 different things, 100 different people, and you get very easily influenced by that. So I'd seen my own friends who also got very influenced by all of that, and that sort of didn't help them in a very great way. That sort of demotivated them, their own spirits, and they couldn't perform as much as they could, right? They couldn't excel in the best way possible. So I would say that never get influenced. Like, listen to everyone, hear everyone, right? But do what you want to do in life, right? Because if you have such limitations, such foundations, you don't tend to take risks. And when you don't take risks, you're just doing what everybody else is doing, and you don't take that risk, you don't even be successful. You reach a certain position and you stop over there. There's nothing beyond that. But if you take risks and you do what you really want to do, like you're passionate about something and you do that, that's when you reach heights. You reach like great heights, right? So that's very important. That's very important as you change your mental emotional state. Like you should start thinking in a way that, you know what, I can do this. Maybe so many things have gone wrong, but still, maybe if I try this way, I can do it better. So you'll have to start having that attitude, right? Start making your mind mentally very strong, okay? um, and emotionally you have to be very strong. That's very important quality of a good leader. A good leader has like really high EQ, more than IQ. It's the emotional quotient which is very high. That's how they connect with other people, and people listen to you and get inspired, right? And I'm doing this video because everybody can be a leader here, right? You don't have to be like the CXO position, or you don't have to be somebody very handling a team to become a leader. Each and every one of you can be a good leader if you have these skills, if you can possess these skills I spoke about, right? In India and even globally, we lack great leaders, right? We have people in those positions, but they are not able to, actually bring that difference, getting that particular position, right? So it's very important to be good leaders. And not only, it's not about just handling a company or handling the nation. It's about life also. Even in your family, you can show the skills of a leader, a good leader, right? You and But it's very different. And if you try to position yourself in your family, the leadership skills required are different. Maybe at a corporate setup, it's a different set of leadership skills which you require, right? So it's very important to be a leader in your life in every phase which you work, be it family or be it professionally. You need to have that skill within you, right? And another important quality is to accept rejections, to accept failures. It's very important to go through a lot of failures, and that's when you succeed, right? That's when you learn, because you failed once, twice, thrice. You learn from the different experiences. Or you have failed, you see where you're going wrong, and that's when you accept that and you move forward, right? uh, One of the fastest ways to actually learn from failures is just look at others who are probably in your field, or maybe you look at the mistakes they, and you're like, I want to be like that person. Just study about that person, okay? Just observe that person, and see the kind of failures they have done, the experiences they have faced in life, and try not to repeat that, okay? Try not to implement that in your life, and try not to repeat those mistakes. So that's the best way to avoid failures. And it could be anyone, right? It could be your own family member, it could be some great leader who you look up to, it could be anyone. So just do that. That sort of those experiences, their experiences, their failures will help you understand better, and so that you don't repeat those mistakes, you repeat newer mistakes and you learn more, right? So that's very important quality. And you have to always have a vision, a goal in life, right? um, Goals are short term, long term goals. Short term goals are like, next 5 years what am I going to do. Long term is different. Like long term, I want to be the, whatever your dream is. That's those visions, that vision of having a short term goal and a long term goal has to be a quality of a leader, right? Because she is somebody who is very visionary. You look at what's going to happen in the future. So that way, it's very important to develop such skills. A leader is also somebody who's able to stand for yourself, okay? Like, I don't need another person to speak for me, when or some other person to console me, or pacify me when I'm not doing well in a certain job. I should be able to control my emotions and stand up for myself, or take decisions. Sometimes in a corporate setup, what happens is, during meetings, there are a lot of times when you have conflicts, and when you see there's something which is genuine, which is something which is very important going on, and you should, like, make a point. But you feel that, okay, it's a group, there are a lot of senior managers, there are a lot of big stars who are like, who are over here, and you feel that okay, fine, maybe this is not the right forum to speak. I would say that just speak. If you see, if you think, yeah, you make sense, and the thing what you're going to speak is actually going to make create a difference, and you should speak for yourself. You should stand up there, and you should just speak up, because it's very important quality that also reflects on your confidence, and the way you actually, it also reflects on your personality as well, the way you speak. So it's very important to be able to stand up for yourself, right? Also, employees, if you see, okay, my boss, I don't just consider him a great leader, right? Only bosses can't be great leaders. Being employees also, you can be great leaders. And how can you be a great leader? Is by taking ownership. Now, if I take up ownership of a certain job, right? And there's a certain program running. So I remember in my company, I used to, speak to my boss, and he used to ask me whether you can assist me in doing a certain job or a certain project, or a program. I'll be like, yeah, I'll do it, and if you want, I'll take that ownership of leading this, and he'll be like, wow, superb, that's like half my job is done. So that way you're like sort of learning yourself, because you're sort of risking that in a certain way, because you're taking the complete responsibility of it. But at the same time, you're driven, you show ownership, and that shows a lot of confidence, and people get impressed. At least you're trying. There are out of 100 people, I think there'll be like 2 3 people who would say like, okay, fine, I'll take this ownership of running a project. A lot of people be like, okay, somebody else is doing, let's just, if no one is asking me to, actually take a ownership or drive anything, why would I do it? Right? I'm getting paid, I'm doing my job, that's enough. But then going that extra mile, right, and taking that ownership is what creates a difference, what makes you different from somebody else, right? So it's very important to have that attitude and have that state of mind. So for that, you also have to be very emotionally strong, as I said earlier. You also have to have that goal in your mind that, you know what, I don't want to be just stuck to this role, I want to do something better than this. So for that, in order to grow in your own career, it's very important to do that, right? Okay. And also, if you see, in India especially, you have a lot of unskilled workers, right? A lot of unskilled laborers, but then it's actually very risky in a country like India, because globally we are going technologically very advanced. So since globally we're going so advanced, even India is going very technologically advanced. So if there's a higher population or a percentage of unskilled workers, it becomes very risky, because there'll be more unemployment and there'll be more problems, which will also affect the economy of the country. So it's very important to develop skills, and any sort of skill, and which would actually be useful, and could be a source of income, right? Skills, developing skills is very important, and it could be in anything, right, which could generate a source of income. And specializing in those skills, making yourself an expert in that particular field which you choose to work on, will make you an expert, right, and a good leader in that particular field, right? And for a leader, it's not important that, okay, I'm a leader, I have to originate an idea, I have to be an originator. No, you don't have to be an originator, right? You can look at others, look at somebody else, what they are doing, and then you understand, you extract or you ideas from everywhere, and then you execute it in a better way, right? That's also considered as an original idea, right? You are still considered an originator. Like, if you see Starbucks, okay, Starbucks was, it's not an original idea, They looked at others, they looked at coffee shops, and they came up with this idea. They looked at 10 different countries, they looked at different scenarios, and that's when they came up with this concept of Starbucks, right? It's not their original idea, right? They saw some things which are happening around, and they realized that how can we do this in a better way, how can we do this in a more efficient manner and differently, so that people get attracted to us, because we think this idea has got a lot of potential, but it's not being used to its maximum potential, right? So that's when your idea is to use those ideas and create another original idea which can help like a lot of people, and then you can generate millions of money from there. So these are the few things which are very you have to be like, you don't have to be very hardworking or very intelligent to know these things. If you have to be street smart, you have to be like, okay, fine, if somebody's talking something, within a second you have to try and understand what the other person is trying to say or trying to convey or do. That's the sign of a good leader, a smart leader, right? So these are the few things I wanted to share in my video, wherein leadership is a learnable skill. So these things what I spoke to you about, it's not rocket science. It's simple things which we can implement and use in our day-to-day work life, and also in our family space as well, right? So that's all for today. If you do like my video, kindly like my videos, and share and subscribe to my channel on YouTube. We've just started recently and it's slowly growing, so I would require the support of a lot of people. So kindly do that, and see you until my next video. Thank you.